Miriam's on her way. I should probably turn on her microphone. Who are you?
I'm Miriam, co-founder and COO of Keto Chow.
I'm Chris, also co-founder, president, and the technical guy behind Keto Chow, which is why I'm working with Facebook support again to get a scammer account turned off. Anyway, if you're brand new to Keto Chow, it's a nutritionally complete meal designed to make doing keto easy. We also have some electrolytes that are amazing for everyday use and for keeping the dreaded keto flu away.
Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the little bell icon for daily updates on all our Keto Chow happenings. These live streams help us be accountable and stay on track. Thanks so much for joining us on our keto journey.
I'm just going to leave that there.
Okay.
It's so much fun. I get to go in a Facebook Messenger chat with Facebook support, and they're going to ask me the same questions over and over again. They're going to say, oh, and you need to fill out form blah, blah, blah. And I say, I already did that.
There it is.
Anyway, Betsy is here, says good evening, Chow Hands. I already had my decaf with Dr. B and Nisha, but I'm wide awake for Keto Chow. By the way, you need to read these.
Oh, thank you.
Rosa says, I just finished a raspberry cheesecake pudding. Yummy. And Rosa says, hello, Keto Chowers.
Hello.
Chowders. Debbie is here, so is Becca, and Bluegrass says, how now, Chowtown?
Hello.
Let's see, Sky. Oh, yep, Sky's here again.
Hi, Sky.
Let's see, Sabrina says, good evening, everyone. I'm feeling much better and ready to get up and move again tomorrow.
Yes.
Let's see,
happy.
Kim is here.
Hi, Kim.
Dr. Maitreya says, hello, everyone.
Hi, Maitreya.
Sky says, good evening, Bears. Shauna says, hi, Chris and Miriam.
Hello,
Now
Shauna.
that Miriam is here.
I'm here.
Just made a Keto Chow chocolate raspberry cheesecake shake for dinner. Keto Life Granny is here as well, so is Carla, and Joanne is here from Casa Grande, Arizona.
Yes.
Marie says hello all.
Hi, Marie.
He says, oh wow, you are early.
Am we?
No, this is exactly the
This
time.
is the time we usually go.
7:15 Mountain Time,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
9:15 Eastern and 8:15 Central. For all you Central people.
I'm tired.
22 QCat says hi everyone. Kim says lemon meringue mug cake. Nice. Oh, he says, oh, or I just can't read a clock. Yeah, there you go. Michelle is here. Let's see, Victoria says, everyone. Oh, hold on a second. I have to answer a question for YouTube. Why don't you read that first question really quick?
Okay. So my question is, can you have the milk protein isolate in Keto Chow if you are lactose intolerant? So if you, depends on how sensitive you are, you can take lactate pills. If you want to, some people don't have a problem with the milk protein because it's the same proteins that are in cheese. So it doesn't have as much casein in it. Am I saying the right thing?
Casein, yeah.
Yes. But if you're sensitive, you can try it with the Lactaid. Oh,
Sorry, I have to do two-factor authentication really quick.
he's out.
You just keep going, Miriam.
All the spammers got us today.
Well, now it's Facebook support who's requiring me to put in our ad account number. And in order to do that, I have to plug in the... There we go.
Got it. Because he has
plug in my
two-factor
YubiKey.
authentication, which you should all have two-factor authentication, even though it's
Yes.
annoying because it saves your butt. So
It does indeed.
do yourself a favor and password protect with two-factor authentication. Okay, yes. So I'm sorry, that first question. You can have it, but it just depends on how sensitive you are. If it makes you sick, don't have it. How's that?
Yep, and don't be afraid to...
Yep, try it with avocado oil, try it with butter, and if you can't handle that, then probably not. But you could also take it with lactate. Also, some people have problems, and if they add a little bit of gelatin, then that seems to help too.
That's true. Okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
Let's see, where were we?
I thought I was the one who was going to cause problems today.
No, it's me. And Sean says 6:15 on the left coast.
Yes.
Let's see. Victoria says, I'm enjoying a delicious guava grapefruit ice cream for dinner.
Yes, that sounds amazing.
Amanda says, hello. Teresa says, howdy, everyone. Jen says, hi, everyone from where spring is in the air.
Oh.
Sky says, it is the time zone thing that throws some of us off. It's 15 here in Palm Springs.
Yep.
We have fond memories of Palm Springs.
Oh,
we went
man.
swimming in the swimming pool with our
With my
brand new
cell phone.
twins, and Miriam had her cell phone in the
In my
pocket.
pocket of my swimming suit. Well, what happened was that we had the two babies in little circle
Yeah, floaty things.
floaties, right?
Yep.
And they were like this huge circle, like they weren't going to tip over or anything. And I was just getting my sandals off. Like we put one twin in and we're in the little pool that's like this deep, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's like not even 3 feet deep. I could sit in it and it was to my waist deep. It was this little tiny kiddie pool. It was so great. And both the twins were in the little things as I was putting my stuff in there. And
Yep.
I'm sure that you had been in there and got out for 2 seconds. As you got out and I was getting in and I hadn't taken my phone out of my swimsuit pocket, they both flopped over onto their faces. And I'm like, whoop! So I just reached in, like I literally stepped into the pool, got their little bodies, pulled them up, so they were safe. They had been in the water for 2 seconds. They didn't even like really notice. They're like,
I didn't care.
oh, water on my face all of a sudden.
Yeah. So we got to go shopping for a new phone.
Yeah, but I had my
While we
phone
were
in my
on vacation.
pocket.
When you had
Palm
it in there for
Springs.
like an hour too.
Well, it's because I didn't notice. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I'm in the pool now. I guess I'm good. So I just sat there with the babies. And
Dennis says, good evening, State of the Union-less Bears. I didn't realize it was State of the Union.
Yes.
That seems to always happen when we're doing live streams.
I know.
Betsy says, bacon chips for me tonight, and I fixed my creamy with the tarragon. Nice. Sabrina says, lemon and meringue
so happy.
mug cake. Oh, is the recipe on the Keto Chow website? I think that it is.
Yes.
Let's see. Maitreya says, I'm tired too. Hold on. Facebook supports wants to let me know they're
Okay.
going to be looking at something for 3 to 5 minutes.
3 to 5 minutes.
Let me see. No problemo.
Thank you. So
Okay.
much Facebook support group. I mean,
Facebook support. Well, let's
so
see.
is that why there's not very many people on today because it's the State of the Union?
It might be. I don't know. Let's see. Nana says, good evening. So is Jerry. Megan says, perfect time to start. Just finished making an apple pie keto chow
Yes.
and pork rind panko crusted pork chop. It's delicious.
That does sound delicious.
We did make a decision about apple pie today, by the way. We're
Did
going
we?
we're going to make it permanent on a tentative basis and see how it goes.
That's a decision.
How about that?
Doesn't it sound like that?
Yep. Sheri says, good evening. Kim says, Sabrina, it was on a recipe card in the Valentine's bundle. Oh, there you go. Jerry says, two-factor authentication is the best.
Yes.
And our creative team has told me that one of the things that I need to do is a blog post about basic cybersecurity stuff.
I told them to tell you
that was it? Okay.
Yeah. I put it on your list of things to do.
It's
by
one of
way
those things.
them.
It's one of those things that, okay, this has nothing to do with our channel, but
It's important.
it is very important.
Yep.
I got notified by Google the day before yesterday that passwords that are saved in your Chrome browser were recently found on a password leak. But I get that notification all the time.
What?
But that's also why you don't reuse
I think the
passwords.
thing is, you get used to it being in your browser, and it automatically
Yeah.
fills, and then you get annoyed when you have to go look it up.
Yeah.
I'm like, ah.
Well, and it was from, in the past, I used to reuse passwords. Don't
Yeah.
reuse passwords. Suzanne says, hello and good evening to you all. Eating
Hi,
ground
Suzanne.
turkey with chicken soup, keto chow, is a slight gravy, and cauliflower rice mix. Yummy dinner.
That sounds good.
This evening, I got home. There was nobody around. I was like,
The whole house was empty.
the whole house was literally
I know. I saw
empty.
you pulled in the driveway on the ring, and I'm all, Dad's gonna be like,
Then
where
Sam
is
showed up and
everyone?"
wanted to play Akron
with all of his friends.
just Asher.
Okay.
Which they did. And so I'm like, well, let's see. I don't think anything is
Keto put us
planned.
on that game.
Don't think anything is planned for dinner. So I'm like, well, we've got this. There was a smoked sausage, one of those big giant
Oh,
U-shaped
that's what
ones.
that was.
Yeah. That Miriam wanted to buy from Peterson's Farms. And so I'm like, and we've got a lot of eggs. So I sliced up that long sausage thing, put it into a pan, browned
Sauteed
it.
it up.
Yep. And then I did like 18 eggs and a bunch of cheese.
And we ate it all.
And it was gone. You had the little teeny bit left over.
Yep, and it was so funny because Max, we told you he's
Max
been having a hard
doesn't do
time with
eggs
eggs. It
very
makes
well.
his stomach sick, at least for the last couple of years. So there's one thing of taco meat, and he sits down with this big old smile on. This meat is for me.
Well, at first he was like, oh, I can't do eggs. I'm like, I put taco meat right in
Yeah.
front of you, dude.
So he's really happy. He's like scoffing at all the kids, like, you can have this, you can have
Kate
this,
had some
you
too,
can have
and it was fine.
Yeah, and it's funny because he used to eat eggs every single day. So I'm not sure what happened to make it so that he can't eat eggs anymore because it's kind of a bummer.
Matrey says, I had Keto Chow pumpkin spice custard. It was so good. I needed fat, so I had butter on top of it.
Yes.
Nice. Sabrina says, darn, I didn't get that one. He says, I love that to catch a spammer Facebook makes you jump through hoops. No kidding.
Yeah.
It's so infuriating. Denise says, thanks this morning. What were you saying about school and nut allergies? That was actually yesterday, I think. My 4-year-old grandson and myself is allergic. It scares my girl to send him to school when it's time.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying that when Max was little and he was having seizures all the time, I said to myself, if there was something somebody else could do to help my son not have a seizure, like that would be really nice.
Yep.
And we had some kids in my kids' school that were severely allergic to peanuts, and they let them bring peanut butter sandwiches for lunch.
Well,
and we liked peanut butter sandwiches, but I told my kids, I'm like, you have kids in your class that have peanut allergies. Let's just do meat and cheese. Like, that's not that hard. And so for their whole career of
going to school,
they never ever had peanut butter sandwiches or peanut butter anything, because kids are not that smart or bright. Like, they're not going to wash their hands after lunch. They're, like, maybe they do now because of the pandemic, but anyway, I never sent them, because I just said to myself, if there was someone who could help my son not to have a seizure, then I can help my, that kid not have to have an epi infusion today.
Yep.
Like, I could do something about this, right?
Jerry says it was 80 here in Arizona today.
Yeah.
John says, I made the midnight 2KK Greek yogurt last night. Midnight, huh?
Yeah.
Into today, had some with lunch, and it was good. Mimi's here.
Hi, Mimi.
Let's see. Kathy says, good evening. Betsy
Hi,
says,
Kathy.
Ketogenic keeps sending me emails trying to sell me their bundles, but their articles are interesting. So ketogenic.com, they are.
Yeah,
if it's ketogenic.com you're talking about, they are legit.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Ketogenic is working with Ryan Lowry, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We actually know one of the founders of that. His name is Chris.
His name is Chris. Like Williams or something?
I don't remember his last name.
Anyway.
But we met them at KetoCon 2017.
Yeah. Michelle says, I'm lactose intolerant, but Keto Chow with butter doesn't seem to be harsh for me.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Claudia says, good evening. Let's see. Sky says it was 90 degrees in Palm Springs.
Oh.
Whoa. This is the time of year you want to be there, right?
I opened the windows yesterday and today driving to school because it was so hot in the car.
He says, so what happened was I was watching a show that had roughly 15 minutes left. So y'all had 18 minutes, or so I thought. I don't know how I got missed up.
You're like, what the heck?
God, you say it's too soon to be that hot. Sean says, save the babies, save the babies. This guy says, much better than the phone than the kiddos. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Visual Keto says, a little late, but thanks goodness for rollback on YouTube. By the way, if you are watching a live stream, either on your phone or on a computer, on YouTube, right here,
There's
there.
a little tiny live.
It says live. If it's red, live with a little red thing, that means you are at where everyone else is watching it, or plus or minus like 30 seconds. If it's gray, you can click on that and it'll jump
catch
ahead.
You up.
So if you're like me
and
you click somewhere else and then you start to type and all of a sudden it jumps back.
You're like, what the heck?
It drives me nuts. Anyway, you can just click on that live and it will take you right back to where you're supposed to be. You're welcome. Sabrina says, I'd much rather watch you guys. Andrea says, I'm here.
Hi, Andrea. How
Stephanie
are you?
is having chocolate keto chow in the creamy. And Claudia says, Terragum does make a difference. Creamy yumminess.
It is really good.
I think I'm going to make some of that tonight, maybe.
Yeah.
If I have time. Sky says, temporarily permanent, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Suzanne says, yippee, love apple pie chaffles.
Yes.
Well, everybody, it was so well received. It's like, okay. And it's because we were talking about what we're going to order and blah, blah, blah.
Today.
And so it's like, we'll go ahead and we'll try that one out as permanent and see how it goes. Sky says, so looking forward to trying all the flavors. Andrew says, it's so hard to get online when you have a kid driving you mad.
Yeah, I feel it.
Let's see. Maitreya says, I thought the apple pie was permanent already. We hadn't made that decision yet.
Yep.
Betsy says, I decided that the news could give me all the high points of the State of the Union. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that reminds me of something from the book Essentialism, where he said he was talking about this guy who had been at this company for quite a while.
Yeah.
Long enough that he would skip the all hands meeting And when people would come back, he would ask them what he missed and would get a like 3-minute summary. He's like, well, that was an hour I just got back.
Yeah.
So you can just get the summary points. It'll be a lot of political stuff with a little bit of important things, and yeah, you'll get it in the summary. Anyway, Sean says, apple pie, permanent adjacent. Betsy's here, welcome.
Hi, Patsy.
Let's see, Kathy says, hello all. Sean says, I've been using xkcd password generator more and more, but I'm afraid I won't ever remember them. So the key to the okay, we weren't going to get into this, but
we couldn't help
the
it.
key is to use
a password saver thing.
So I'm just gonna do xkcd password, and there it is. Okay, it's this Preshing website. So the joke is, for any of you who haven't heard this, is that through 20 years of effort, we've successfully trained everyone to use passwords that are hard for humans to remember, but easy for computers to guess. So this like Troubadour &3, okay? Is it easy to guess? It actually is. There's only 28 bits of entropy. It would take about 3 days for a computer to brute force that.
Whereas a person can't remember that
it's
very
like,
well.
was it a trombone? No, Troubadour, and one of the zeros was a 0, and there was some symbol, But correct horse battery staple is 44 bits of entropy. That would take 550 years.
Yeah, so just get 4 words that you can remember that are random.
Difficult to remember, you've already memorized it, right?
Correct horse battery stable.
So this website, you just tap on it and it gives you 4 random words. You can use them the way they are. You can change words around. You can throw numbers in there, whatever you want.
But what you want to do is get one of these 4 words and then get a password creation and storage program.
Yep.
Right?
So that could be
and these 4
KeyPass.
words you put into that, and then you don't have to remember anything. You just keep them in that password program.
So I use a password like this for my Gmail, and I use a password for this for my password management program.
Manager place.
Between those two, I have to know how to log into those without any help. And so I memorize those passwords. But everything else is, well, we used to use KeyPass, which is free, or now we use 1Password, which works really well.
And it's really cool. You can keep all kinds of stuff on that. So it just takes a little bit of learning.
It does. And I guess I better do that blog post.
Yeah, we got to do that.
Anyway, Woman says, well, trying orange mango for the first time. It tastes great. Betsy says, it's better to let them choose a weird long password for you that you'll never remember. Again, for instance, like Chrome has a password manager built into it, but it's not really cross-platform aside from if you're using Chrome on a phone and Chrome on your desktop or something like that. The cool thing about 1Password is I have the same thing on a tablet, on 6 computers, on my phone, and I can share passwords. Like one of our daughters was like,
it's
hey,
really cool.
I need to log into Netflix. I'm like, it's in 1Password. We're like, oh, it is?
Because we signed them all up and we have a shared folder that they can.
Or they wanted to use our Cinemark movie club. I
had to sign Ruth up for her track stuff and needed to get a hold of, what did I need? I needed to get her to physical, so I had to get like her social security number and all of this information, and it was all on the password place.
Yep, it was.
And then I needed to also get a hold of her bank when she wasn't here and send her the $20 to pay for it.
Yep.
But I got that
and pretty
information.
Much all of my passwords and Miriam's passwords are in our together saved thing.
Yeah, with the heart. Just kidding.
Anyway, Radical Geek says KeyPass or similar app is good for secure passwords. Yes, it is. And KeyPass is cheap as free.
Yeah, and it's actually not that hard. It just takes a minute to get used to using it, but the more you use it, the easier it is. So you just got to practice. Just like the piano. Just got to practice.
Yep.
Practice keeping yourself safe.
Jerry says apple pie. Woohoo! Look who knows so much. It's just the apple pie is only mostly permanent. Oh. There's a big difference between mostly permanent and truly permanent. Most with all the way permanent, there's the only thing you can do is look for their pockets for loose change.
We watched that the other day.
Sky says, I'm making Greek yogurt as we speak. 3 more hours to go to the Instant Pot. Nice. Yes. Shauna says, Chris, it was midnight because I didn't take into account timing and I got up at midnight, put the strainer into the fridge. Nice. See, what I do is I'll put it in there and I'll just, I'll set the timer for 24 hours. And I'm like, well, at any point after 12 hours, I'll take it out.
Yeah.
And then we put it in the strainer and stick it in the fridge.
And then sometimes forget about it for 2 days. But then we get it out, we're like, wow, this is some nice yogurt. And then we just eat it. And it's
put
okay if the whey
sugar-free
really comes out because we put the sugar-free syrup
in
it.
I want the whey to come out.
And then it moistens it up again. It's fine.
Meg says, good evening. It's warming up here in Blackfoot. No longer feeling like I'm freezing all the time. Have raspberry cheesecake for lunch, and I'm having my keto chili for dinner.
Yum.
Nice. Radical Geek says, what's AV standing for? I'm assuming antivirus. Esther turned on AC in the car today. Let's see, Denise says, it's even an issue for me as an adult, as there are many hidden nut stuffs, and as there is sugar. One restaurant here puts peanut butter in their coleslaw?
What?
Okay.
Sorry.
It says, evening all about to have a banana snickerdoodle hot for dinner.
Yum.
Sounds like a banana pie or something.
Delicious.
Mead says, I forgot it was Tuesday. Well, welcome.
Yay, glad you're here.
Mitch Jack says, finally signed up for subscriptions.
Yes.
I'm excited. Michelle was wondering, I have a stent in my heart. I know I can use avocado oil, but what do you think about adding avocados to Keto Chow? Creamy, no taste really. Use a blender, and it works really well. In fact, I've heard of some people that use...
cream cheese.
Well, cream cheese, but actually, they use frozen chunks of avocado. You can just go to the store, and apparently they sell frozen avocado cubes.
No.
Yeah.
Where?
I don't know, like
I
grocery
need those
stores.
in my life.
And so people have just been tossing those into the blender.
What a good idea.
And yeah, it works really well.
Sounds delicious.
Victoria says, also you can speed up the video to catch up faster to the live spot.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And then it goes...
Esther says, I need to mix up some keto chow for tomorrow. Maya says, yay, permanent apple. Well, it's permanent for now. In about a year, we'll reevaluate.
Permanent, temporarily permanent.
Esther says, apple will permanently be on my do not order. Apple has never been something I like. Hey, we can still be friends.
That's right.
Betsy says, Essentialism, yay, I remember that story. He says, I survived another meeting that should have been an email.
Right?
Oh, and Shauna has LastPass. That's a good one as well.
Thank you.
1Password, LastPass, and...
KeyPass.
Well, KeyPass is a free one.
What's the
Trying to remember
called?
the other service one. I ultimately decided to go
amazing.
with 1Password because it does cost. It's like $1. Well, we got the family plan, which is like $5
Everything
a
costs
month.
more for us because we have family things.
But to add additional people to it is, and I think you can have 5 people with the family plan, and it's $5 a month, and each additional person is $1 a month.
That's not that much money.
No, it's not that much money.
I mean, we're paying for Prime. I mean, we're paying for lots of stuff.
It's cheaper than Netflix.
That's right. Cheaper than Netflix.
For a year. Anyway, a month for a year. Anyway, Maya says, Esther, did you ever try with salted caramel?
Apple with salted caramel?
A lot of people, I personally like the apple with chocolate toffee.
You had that together?
Yeah, it tastes. I think the chocolate toffee is a better caramel flavor than the salted caramel, but that's me.
Oh, okay, I'm willing to try that.
Shauna says, then take out the spaces and add a capital and a number and symbol. Yeah, you could totally do that. Trey says, I gave up on watching the news for my own mental health and clarity.
Yeah.
I'm not being apathetic. I'm concerned at what's happening, but there's so much gunk out there. It's too toxic out there, driving me crazy. Yep.
I get sad and then I have bad dreams.
Yep. Esther says, anyone else buffering? I'm not seeing any dropped frames at all this time.
Sorry.
And Debbie says, I use KeyPass all the time.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Let's see. Shauna says, I have Chrome on my home computer, both on my laptops and on my phone. Let's see. Yeah, and Kathy, talking to Mitch Jack, says, you could do avocado and butter so you can get some flavor to add the delicious creaminess of the avocado. I used to make Sintobo, an avocado shake that was delicious. Oh.
Nice.
Sean says, I think I thought I got key pass, but have last pass. It seems to be going okay. Nice.
Yeah. Well, they're the same. They're similar.
Maya says, so is apple pie our St. Patrick's Day surprise?
What a good surprise.
Nope.
Chris is going to have a mustache for St. Patrick's Day.
I just might. It's getting thicker. Jerry says, got to make.
I think you won't, because we'll scuba dive before then.
No, we don't scuba dive until like the 26th.
The 11th.
My tummy just said.
Yeah.
Jerry says, I got to make Patty more chocolate peanut butter. Creamy. Her favorite ETA on the big bags. Chocolate peanut butter. We actually talked to them about that today. They didn't have any mixed up. They're going to be mixing it up later this week. The problem that they've run into is they've had the place that mixes our Keto Chow had 4 people quit last week. And so they're a little freaking out trying to get new workers. It does remind me of, let's see if I can find this.
Scuba class. It is on the 11th. See the scuba class.
Okay.
So you'll have a mustache, and then you'll shave it, and then you'll have it might grow back by St. Patrick's Day, the 17th.
I just love
oh my gosh.
despair.com.
That's so sad.
I'm trying to remember what it is. This is annoying pop-up box. Yes, it is. Teams, together we can do the work of one. There's one of them that's like, I don't think I'll find it in time.
No, you won't.
But it was, what was I talking about?
I don't even know. I was thinking about scuba diving and your mustache. And shoes. Squirrel. We got to get back on keto.
It was motivation or something like that. It says, or human resources. It says sometimes the solution to human resource problems is just to fire all the unhappy people. It's like, I've loved despair.com even before I was an employer.
Yep.
Lisa says I'm making Greek yogurt right now.
Nice.
Claudia says peanut butter and coleslaw, right? Maya says, yeah, banana bread-ish. It's my first try.
That sounds awesome.
Mia says cream cheese and chocolate mint. Oh, it is amazing.
Yes.
That would be amazing. Meg says, I actually forgot about the State of the Union address tonight. Didn't watch the mainstream news anymore. Just catch the local weather. That's literally what we do too. Our local station has, our local weather, whatever, TV station has a weather app, and you can just watch the weather. You don't have to wait. You can just watch the weather. It's so awesome.
Yep.
Let's see, Andrew says, I made yogurt 2 days ago and just took it out of the strainer in the refrigerator and put it in mason jars. Nice. Maya says, I buy frozen avocado halves at Kroger.
Oh, cool.
Claudia says, Costco has frozen avocado. Nice. Oh, and Les says, Walmart also sells the avocado cubes.
Oh, man. I'm missing out.
He says, frozen avocados can be found in the frozen section. Weird, huh?
I never go to the frozen section. Unless I go to the Rebel section.
Jerry says, peanut butter and coleslaw is amazing. Big Asian delicacy. Parents were Indonesian, and we had it in slaw many times.
Oh, well, there you go.
J-Dog says NordPass is one that I have. That's right.
Oh, yes.
Sky says, thinking of the subscription
company that does
option.
NordVPN.
It is.
I've heard their advertisements. I'm sorry.
Dropbox actually has a password manager, too.
Oh, that's
Sky
good.
says, thinking of the subscription option, but as you know, I am nowhere permanently. Worried about shipping woes.
Oh.
That is a difficult thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, you should come over here and just grab some.
Mimi says, I use OneSafe.
Oh,
nice.
perfect. Thanks, Mimi.
Shauna says, any St. Patty's Day shenanigans planned? I don't know. But April 1st
I'm trying
is
to figure out how to wear a green shirt with the green screen.
Mimi says, love those hot chocolate shoes. Ooh. He says, what was the deal with Xanthan Gum?
We were saying we're going to be having a problem with that soon. But it's not a problem yet. It's
we
coming.
don't use a lot of Xanthan Gum in Keto Chow anymore. We used to use a lot. When we switched from whey protein isolate to milk protein isolate, it was thicker without Xanthan Gum. And so I cut the amount of Xanthan Gum by 2/3.
Yep.
And so we don't use a lot, but we need to use one that's a very fine mesh.
It's called
very
a mesh.
fine grind.
And that's like the particle size. So we like to have it the right.
Jerry incorrectly says scuba is self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. It actually means self-contained underwater bear adventure.
Bear adventure.
We were told that on a live stream recently. Lori says, howdy, howdy, my Tuesday party friends. Chris, I'm getting used to the beard sans mustache. I'm not.
Yeah, I still think there's something missing off your face.
Well, it says, we put on happy music at work with no advertising. Makes the day so much better.
Yeah, we do that too.
Don't let Spotify know you did that, though. Just saying. He says, I asked the warden, what's for dinner tomorrow? She says, meatloaf on Wednesday. So we're having wet loaf. So now I'm worried. Lisa says, my office uses Dashlane password manager.
Nice.
Okay. So let's see. You talked about that.
Yep.
Oh, that's a really good question. So someone asked, if you have non-keto or high carbohydrate foods along with Keto Chow, could you still lose weight?
Well, I think you could if you're not using Keto Chow with as much fat.
Yeah, you don't want to have a meal that's high in
that
carbs
you're eating.
and fat at the same time. Yeah.
And it depends on what you're doing. Like, what are your goals? What are you trying to do?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not ketogenic, then that would make sense. But it would still be a good protein shake with a lot of vitamins and nutrients.
Yeah. Well, and this comes, a lot of times we get the question like, hey, my kid who isn't doing keto, we're like, oh, that's us. We have several children who aren't doing keto. Could they drink Keto Chow? And, well, legally the response always has to start with Keto Chow is not indicated for use by children, nursing mother, or pregnant mothers. Please consult your physician before using Keto Chow.
And then Chris goes on to say, but you should also take your chicken nuggets and your macaroni and cheese to your doctor and say, are these fit for children? And then the doctor will say,
like, no.
Sure, no problem.
Let's see, something that was designed for human nutrition versus something that's junk. Anyway, so that said, our children use Keto Chow all the time, and most of them aren't doing a ketogenic diet. I look at it this way. Keto Chow, if you mix it up with the minimum of fat required, which is 10 grams, or you mix it up with, say, heavy cream, at least that meal will have less sugar than the rest of the meals that person would have during the day. And is less sugar
Always
a good
better.
thing?
Yes.
I would say less sugar during a meal is a good thing. And if mixed up properly, the person is going to drink it and go, well, I'm not eating for 8 hours.
not 8 hours maybe, but they're not going to have enough fat to make them full.
So, but
they will have some.
Well, it depends on how you mix it up.
Filling.
If you're mixing it up with a minimum amount, then you might want a snack. But yeah, so and again, we do not recommend mixing a high fat and high sugar meal at the same time. Please don't do that. If you're going to have a Keto Chow, please don't eat a good amount of carbs. If you're going to have Keto Chow with a lot of fat, please do not have a high amount of carbohydrates for about 8 or 9 hours, please. So, there you go.
I have one. Are you ready for the next one?
Sure.
Sheri asked, I was having a discussion with my healthcare friend who said that in order for minerals to be taken up to the greatest % possible, they need to be chelated.
See, by the way, chelate. I put it in there because
I actually knew how to pronounce that. Are your minerals chelated?
It's spelled chelated. So that's a good question. So, okay, the basics are when you have something like magnesium by itself, like a chunk of metallic magnesium.
Yeah, you can't absorb that.
No, you cannot absorb that. It needs to be broken up. So there's a couple of ways. You can take magnesium and you combine it with oxygen and make magnesium oxide. And you still won't be able to take it up. And what this is referencing, they need to be chelated, is you can't have like magnesium oxide. Your body won't be able to absorb that, period. But most supplements are, say, magnesium oxide. You look at some relatively popular keto shakes out there that aren't Keto Chow, look at the ingredients and you will see magnesium oxide on the ingredient label and you'll go, nope. So the alternative is, say, magnesium malate, which is you have magnesium and you have malic acid. Amino acids, that is chelating. You can also combine different minerals with other organic or inorganic compounds. Chloride, like sodium chloride, your body can absorb, it can easily break down a chloride.
That's salt.
Yeah, sodium chloride is salt. To infer that our bodies can't break down sodium chloride is silly. Potassium chloride, also fine. Magnesium chloride, also fine. Magnesium citrate, that causes people to have a bit of...
Typically.
It causes bathroom problems. So, yeah, compared to, say, an oxide, an amino acid chelate is fantastic. But the chloride versions aren't bad either, and the citrates are actually pretty good as well. And I believe that citrates means that it's combined with citric acid. I should have looked that up.
Yeah, I think the citrate is the cheapest one
Generally
that you can
speaking,
get.
Yeah.
But it does cause
Especially with magnesium,
problems, bathroom problems.
If you go to get a, what's it called? The thing. Colonoscopy, yes.
That's what they give you.
The bottle that they give you to drink just
It's
beforehand.
all magnesium citrate.
Yep. Cleans you right out.
It's supposed to do that.
It is supposed to do that. So anyway, there you go. But all of our minerals are either an amino acid complex, which is chelated, or it's on a citrate, or it's on a chloride. Period. We don't use, say, magnesium oxide at all. And that's because we try to use the highest quality ingredients that we can, because Miriam and I and our children use Keto Chow. And so we're not going to give you junk, because that would, out of necessity, mean that we're also getting junk.
Yep.
So no junk around. No, I don't want no junk.
No junk.
Okay. Let's get back to the comments. Blue says, good evening, chow hands. Buzzing around, putting some beef shank and soup bones in the Instant Pot.
Oh,
Wow.
that sounds yum.
This guy says, I think I would be a bad influence on Miriam. Full-time RVing is addictive.
I want to.
Mike says, what did I miss? Nothing. Blue says, that was my scuba interpretation. You're right. I think I remember that now. Let's see. Oh, Shauna says, Mike, use a secure password manager and a password manager, and apple pie is maybe possibly permanent. There you go. Well, it says Keto Chow beats a milkshake for overall satisfaction, hands down.
Yes.
Also for overalls satisfaction.
Okay.
This guy says, you mean I shouldn't have a donut with my Keto Chow? No.
Probably not.
Oh, and Mike says that he's looked for frozen avocados at his Costco. Never been able to find them.
Well, I do like regular avocados. They're my favorite.
That's true, but you have a 5-minute window.
And then I have 4 avocados that are all the same ripeness. Yep. But I've kept them in the fridge for a long time, and then you pull one out. So I just need to get a better system.
I love that meme that's like, hey, Betty Sue, do you want to go out on a date? It's like, oh, I'm unavailable on Friday night. My avocado will be ripe.
Right?
Jay says, there's no alternative Keto shake out there except Keto Chow. All others are pale imitations. It's Keto Chow or nothing for me. I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, actually I would. Oh, did I say Wellman says really loving orange mango? It's a winner for dinner.
Yay.
Winner for dinner!
Winner!
Claudia says that's one thing I don't like about Costco. All stores don't carry the same items.
It's true.
Kilo Grant says, I full-time in my retirement home on wheels.
Oh, little retirement
in my little
home.
retirement home on wheels. There you go.
Cute.
That's awesome. Let's see. Oh, Kathy says, says cut up regular avocados and freeze them. They keep wonderfully.
Yeah, I should do that when they're all ripe at the same time.
Yep. They probably cost less to buy frozen cut up, because then they don't have to use ones that are perfect.
Probably.
They could cut off the
cut
bad sections.
Parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we get those little tubs that have avocado in it.
Yeah, I love those things.
It's just not the same.
To me, it's as good, and it's exactly the right ripeness.
Good. It doesn't taste like an avocado slice.
So Eric wanted to know about adding eggs to Keto Chow when making ice cream. Do you add the whole eggs or just the yolk?
You could add either or both.
Yeah.
Right?
Whichever way you want to go.
And then I would just mix it up in a blender or with an immersion blender, because it's going to mix better if you do that and then stick it in the freezer.
That would be really weird if you just dropped an egg into it and then froze it.
Yeah.
It'd be like, nope. Well, and for that matter, if you have tarragon, you might as well add in the
Yeah,
tarragon as well.
the fourth of a teaspoon
Per serving.
per serving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Miriam likes to do creamies slightly different than I do. I like to mix them up and make them fit exactly in the 2 pints. We have a video on our site. Well,
I
on
fit
YouTube.
them exactly in the 2 pints also, just not as many servings.
Yeah, so she'll do 2 servings and split it between 3 creamies, right? Or is it 3 between 4?
3 between 4. 3 between 4.
Yep.
Because it's the same way I make the shakes. I just put it in 4 containers. Ta-da!
Okay, there you go. Let's see. Blue says Heath and Shelley are testing a way to keep fresh avocados from going overripe.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Let us know what you discover, Heath.
Mike says one Costco near me in Henderson refills propane tanks.
Well, that's cool.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have our little farm store that does that.
Yeah, we do. I have 4 or 5 propane tanks that need to be filled. Because when you had COVID and I was sleeping in the trailer, I used up a tank and a half of propane.
It was winter.
It was really cold winter. Well, it was
It
November.
wasn't that cold.
No, it was October. That's right. It was still very cold. Anyway, John says when I want to buy more than one avocado, I try to purchase them at different ripeness levels.
Yeah. I just get the little baggie
Yep.
that has all of them in there. And then they're all ripe at the same time.
More or less. Gina says, good evening, everyone. I've been listening. I forgot to say hi. I thought I saw you earlier,
How are
Gina.
you?
Okay, here is an interesting question
Okay.
that is fraught with peril, but we're going to answer it the best that we
Fraught
can.
with peril.
Is Keto Chow good for diabetics?
Well,
Okay, now, first off, diabetic is a general term.
it could be.
We're talking about type 1
diabetic.
diabetes mellitus or type 2 diabetes mellitus because they're different things. So, you were going to say stuff. Sorry.
It's fine. So our friend who has type 1 is the one that we're closest to that we know.
Yes.
She still has to take insulin with Keto Chow, but not that much. And it's a slow raise. It's not like a spike.
Yeah.
But I think you get that with a lot of things anyway.
Yeah.
So that's helpful to know that she uses it and she
she's been
enjoys it.
loving
She's
doing a
been
keto
baking
diet.
with it for a long time now.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably been on for like 2 years now.
Yeah, something like that.
She loves it. It helps so much with.
Well, she doesn't get hypoglycemic events
Yeah.
anymore, which was the crazy,
It
super
was
scary
really
thing.
hard and scary. She still has some problems and she still has to take insulin because her pancreas doesn't work. But it's been really a blessing to be able to do keto, and she used the Keto Chow a lot. And then also you can use it with type 2 diabetes because it would be similar.
Yeah, well, and it's a bit preposterous that the standard recommendation for type 2 diabetics is that they should eat a minimum of, I think it's 300 grams of carbohydrates a day in order to keep their energy up.
Yeah.
And then take insulin to cover that. Where if you go on a proper human diet, which is what Dr. Berry calls a ketogenic diet, and eat meat and eggs and bacon and
Some
green
beans
vegetables,
with some butter and
green leafy
salt,
vegetables, things like that, then
bacon on top.
the necessity for you to take insulin goes down, and in some cases is reduced to 0.
Yep.
Because it's not so much that you don't have enough insulin, it's that your cells can't take up any more sugar, and so your body has to keep on putting out more and more insulin. Having not enough insulin is not the problem. You actually have too much insulin, and adding more insulin to that is like, it's like someone's addicted to drugs and you think, well, to help them, we're going to give them more drugs.
Well, and the problem is that's the only way that they know how to treat it.
That's true.
And it is a blessing, and we're not saying that insulin is
Oh, no,
bad,
by any means. We're not.
because you need to have insulin.
Yes.
And it's the only way to control it if you're not doing a ketogenic.
Yep. Well, and that's for type 1. For type 2, you can fast as well. But for some people, they're like, I don't want to fast. Well, how about doing eating a lot of meat. Does that sound
Also,
good?
when you are on medicine, you need to be careful when you go
That
keto
is
or
true.
carnivore at first to check in with your doctor, because you can take down your medicines pretty quickly and not need them, and you don't want to get too much medicine. So that's something you have to be careful about.
Yeah, that's actually one of the hardest things for doctors who specialize using ketogenic diets for treatment of obesity and other related issues.
Yeah.
That when people cut out the sugar, all of a sudden
Yeah, you have to cut the meds pretty quickly.
which is one of the best things ever, reducing need for medicines.
Yep.
I mean, come on, that's
So
great.
cool. So the first time we had heard about that was with Megan Ramos and Jason Fung with the fasting method.
Yep.
They said that when their patients would come in for Ramadan, they
during
would
Ramadan.
come in to be de-prescribed of their medicine because they were going to fast.
Yeah,
for
they were
that
just doing
period of time, and
like
they were just doing it
intermittent
during the
fasting.
day.
Yeah.
And so they would have one big meal at night, and then they couldn't have too much medicine because they didn't have the food to offset it. And so Jason Fung's like, there's something to this.
Wait a minute.
And so he that's how the whole fasting method got started. So that was interesting.
It sounds like someone's making shrinky dinks downstairs.
Yeah.
So I guess the question comes back to, is Keto Chow good for diabetics? I would posit, in my own personal opinion, not as a doctor,
think so.
that a ketogenic diet is one of the best things for someone with type 1 or type 2 diabetes.
Or type 3, which
would be Alzheimer's. And that Keto Chow works well for a well-formulated ketogenic diet. So,
in our opinion.
in our opinion, there you go. Let's see. He says, we were actually just discussing the fact that we forgot about that experiment, and the jar is still on the shelf. We will share the results on the friends and family if someone wants to remind me. Okay. Then he says, putting avocado in the fridge slows ripeness. When ready to take out, like the day before, but you have to remember not to get too many.
I know. Yeah, I need to do that.
Let's see. Stephanie says, the diet they suggest for type 2 diabetes is a carb roller coaster. You're correct. Q-Life Granny says, I let my avocados ripen and then drop the ones I can't use right away into the freezer. Take one out when I need it.
Nice. Oh, so they're already ripened, and then you put them in the freezer. That's a good idea.
Jerry says, a spoonful of bacon helps the medicine go down.
The medicine go down.
Wilma says, my prediabetes has improved, no longer in existence due to low carb. A1C from 6.4 to 5.2. And it's interesting, a lot of times doctors will not say that you have cured your diabetes if you treat it using a ketogenic diet and reduce your A1C. Yeah, they'll say it's in remission.
Yeah, they say that about PCOS too.
They'll also, or they'll say you're asymptomatic.
Yeah.
You're not showing the symptoms anymore. It's like, no, it's cured. It's asymptomatic. All right.
Well, that doesn't mean that if you go back to eating carbs, it won't come back. I think that's the thing that we have to remember.
And that's true. And that's an important point. We get that a lot of times. People are like, hey, once I'm done losing weight, do I have to keep on doing keto? It's like,
yeah, well, if you do what you did to gain the weight, then you'll probably gain the weight.
Yep.
So
if you go back to doing this thing you did before, yeah.
And a lot of times people can, if they get to their goal weight, they can incorporate some
go into maintenance mode?
Some higher carbs, not higher, but higher than what they've been eating, and they can maintain. But I think you just have to be really careful to not let those bad habits sneak back in.
That's true. Stephanie says, I love Dr. Jason Fung. Shauna says, I visited my mom again. She asked me to move her air fryer to the counter and put her toaster oven down on the shelf.
Nice.
I don't eat toast anymore. Yes. Go, Mom.
So
That's awesome. Heath says, yep, roughly 6 months after starting keto, my doctor took me off metformin and told me I was no longer a type 2 diabetic.
So great.
Oh, and Heath points out the FNN is the Friday Night Feast, which is Friday nights at 6:30 p.m. Central. And for whatever reason, I always have something going on.
It's because your brain is working on Friday nights.
I guess so. Life in the 208 says, I was told I needed 6 small meals a day and high sugar fruits. I gained weight before the week was over. Doc fired, got a new one, new blood work, waiting on numbers, but she's completely supportive.
Oh, good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, and Stephanie says, everyone stop telling your doctors that you're doing keto. Say you're on the proper human diet.
Right.
Or even better, just say, oh, I have cut out sugar and
lowered my carbohydrates.
I'm eating whole foods.
Yep, I'm eating whole foods. I shop on the outside of the grocery store. Produce.
And the doctors will be like,
Eggs,
oh, that sounds
meat.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you keep doing what you're doing. It's like, okay.
It's so funny. My doctor's like, okay, what are you eating? Oh, I'm eating healthy. Yeah, you're eating healthy. Okay, great.
How often do you eat whole grains? Why would I eat whole grains?
No.
My ancestors didn't eat whole grains until like a couple thousand years ago. So Stephanie says, oh yeah, I already read that. Then he says, my Hubs is 6.8 and the VA doc says not to worry about it till it's 7. The problem with that is
the damage is happening now.
I think if I remember correctly, I'm going to totally botch this statistic, but between like a 5 and a 6 or a 6 and a 7 A1C, your chance of death, I think, is 4 times higher.
Oh no.
But the problem is they don't medicate below a 7 because if you medicate too much, then you will give people hypoglycemic events, which can kill you.
Right.
Having high blood sugar will damage you over a long term, but having super low can just flat out like stop your brain, kill you. So they never medicate below a 6. And
Below
usually
a
they
7.
don't medicate below a 7 either, because at least that's controlling it a bit, but that's not optimal. Dr. Berry goes on about that quite a bit.
I would definitely look at Dr. Berry's videos about diabetics, because we're not doctors, so we're just saying what we've heard. But we could be wrong.
And Shauna points out, why would you go back? Better than weight loss is no meds, way less aches and pains.
Yep.
Well, and a lot of people will say they will come to a ketogenic diet for the weight loss and discover that, oh, hey, my gout is gone.
Yep.
Or
my brain is not foggy anymore.
I don't need a knee replacement anymore.
Yay.
Anyway, Exchange Student says I got an 8-quart Instant Pot with a sous vide function for less than $70 today.
Nice, that's awesome.
Maya says that the banana bread flavor, which is the snickerdoodle and the banana, is
so
ridiculously good.
Yes.
Gina says, I'm not a doctor either, but I brought my A1C from 9.2 to
Holy.
5.6 with keto.
Wow,
My
wow,
doctor
wow.
says I was forever damaged and have to take metformin forever. I just got a new doctor.
Well, and you know, we have our friend Dr. Rigby up in Ogden.
Yep.
He does put people on metformin still, but he takes a lot of different things into account. And so I think he's just doing the best he can. And there may be other reasons why you'd have to stay on metformin for a period of time.
Marie says, so tired. Let's see. Stacy says, I told my doctor I eat meat and low GI veggies.
Oh, nice.
Glycemic index.
Yep.
Hubs
That's
says,
perfect.
the Hubs. Denise says, my Hubs did ask if he should change his diet, and they said, nope. Jerry says, so today is March 1st. I'm working to march forward. Got a small walk-in today. First time out in a few months. Hashtag March Madness.
Yay.
Nice. Joe is here, says, what's up, family? Stephanie says, this is not a diet. It's a way of life. There were goodies for Fat Tuesday today, and I wasn't even
Stephanie,
tempted.
I'm so proud of you.
That is fantastic. Yes. Well, and that's something that Joe, who just joined, likes to point out, and we like to point that out too, is that if you treat a ketogenic way of life like a diet,
it feels temporary.
Yeah. Whereas I don't see any reason to stop. Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Anyway.
Virginia.
Well, and speaking of other medical things, well, got 2 questions. I'm just going to put them back to back. Can you use Keto Chow after weight loss surgery? And then Angela asked, I'm having surgery to do a gastric sleeve this week. Will Keto Chow work with those parameters of low sugar and high protein?
That's a hard 2 questions. That's a hard 2 questions.
Miriam and I, we do not personally have experience with weight loss surgery. And there's various forms of weight loss surgery. But a lot of them seem to have the same thing, that you now have a smaller stomach or you have a shorter intestines. A shorter intestine. Anyway, and your ability to absorb food or to fill up your stomach is reduced.
Yep.
And so you have to optimize and really work at getting good nutrition in the amount of the like absorbability that you have.
Yeah, and at first, after a bypass surgery, I would say you probably don't want to use Keto Chow. You want to get as nutrient-rich things as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And the Keto Chow would just be too much, and you can only have like, that's your phone or my phone?
That's my phone.
You can only have, what, 2 tablespoons or something to eat a meal, or I can't remember. But after a while, it depends on, like after you've recovered all the way and it's been a few months, you might could experiment with it. I know Christy Davis of Southern Keto Christy YouTube channel has had a gastric bypass or a bypass surgery of some type, and she does Keto Chow, but you can see when she mixes hers up, they're not full all the way. And so she also takes some time to drink them.
Yep.
So that's what we know about Keto Chow and bypass surgery.
Well, no, one of the big problems for people with gastric bypass is getting the vitamins and minerals and also getting the protein. Now, I'm not going to countermand what Miriam's, not countermand? I'm not going to disagree with what Miriam said, but we have had people say that they will mix up Keto Chow with very little fat, so the minimum, which is 10 grams, because they have enough fat on their body, and they're kind of dealing with forced fasting is almost what they're dealing with. And so they will mix up the Keto Chow with just the 10 grams of fat and drink it over an extended period of time because they're trying to get in their protein and they're trying to get in the vitamins and minerals without a lot of volume and without a lot of fat. But to go along with what Miriam said, the most nutrient-dense food you could possibly get would be meat. And I cannot recommend meat highly enough.
Meat is so great.
Meat's amazing. It's the original superfood. And if you really want to get into superfood, like if you can stomach it, liver is probably the best thing for you to eat.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's not a recommendation specifically for people with weight loss
bypass.
surgeries, but generally speaking, meat is the original superfood. So yeah, try doing that. I don't know how eggs work for people with
I don't
with
see
weight
why
loss
they
surgery.
wouldn't work.
But if you can stomach it, see what I did there? Using Keto Chow with the minimum amount of fat and drinking it over a period of time will allow you to absorb probably a good amount of the vitamins and minerals from Keto Chow, plus get a good amount of protein that would be generally very easy for you to digest and might work really well. So try it maybe and see if it works.
Yep.
Let's see. So let's get back to some of the comments. Marie says, Serious Keto suggested adding planks in March. My abs are so sore.
Oh, yeah, I saw somebody was talking about doing planks too. I'd be game to do planks.
Jerry says, our diets are temporary, keto is forever. Liz says, I'm very upfront with my doctor. Well, there you go.
Yeah, we are too, but sometimes you just have to say what they want to hear, which is, I'm eating healthy.
Betsy says, even Dr. Barry tonight said that some need to be on a low dose of metformin for every once in a while.
Yep.
For some people. Now, if I'm not mistaken, my recollection is that metformin, the mechanism that it uses is it messes up gluconeogenesis.
Oh, does it?
And so your body is producing less glucose. And so for someone who is on a ketogenic diet, it could help them lower their glucose levels even more.
Oh, okay.
That's my recollection, and
He could be
I
wrong.
don't remember if that's right. If I remember correctly, the reason why xylitol is so bad for dogs is it short circuits their glucose metabolism.
And
Anyway.
dogs don't need that.
No, they don't need that short circuited. Joe says all diets fail. You have to change your lifestyle for long-term success.
Yep.
Let's see. Jeannie says I had a root beer float for the first time today. It's my new favorite.
Ooh, yummy.
I haven't had that for so long.
I know, that sounds so good.
Victoria
Makes me think of
says
that.
86% of statistics are made up. It's actually 84%.
Right?
Shauna
Both
says,
of you are right.
Shauna says, I don't regret much. Bypass surgery is one thing I regret.
Oh, that you didn't have it or that you did have it?
Yep.
That's the question. My mom had bypass surgery and it saved her life. So I was super grateful that she had that. It was the first time in my life that we were catching up with her instead of her catching up with us.
Yep. Now, for people who don't know about a ketogenic diet, I think it's a good tool. I think a ketogenic diet is a much better tool.
Yeah.
Now, my friends say that I'm a tool, and Dennis can vouch for that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dennis, he says, well said, Chris and Miriam. My wife also has no gallbladder. Now I know that keto was the better path. Well, it's interesting, the gallbladder thing, because for those of you who don't know, your gallbladder stores bile, and bile is used to help you digest fats. If you go on a low-fat diet, then the bile just kind of hangs out there going, so what do I do?
Yeah.
And then you develop stones in there, and problems happen, and so they take it out.
And then people get their gallbladder taken out.
And then if you go on a ketogenic diet, you're like, wait, how is this going to work with all of this fat that I'm eating? Well, your liver still produces bile, and it still goes into your duodenum or duodenum. I still don't know how to pronounce that one. Never gotten a clear answer as to how you say that
Becca
one.
would know.
Yeah. Anyway, so it still goes into there. You just have to start eating a consistent amount of fat, and your body will figure out, okay, this is how much bile we need every day. The whole point of the gallbladder is so that you can do lower fat, higher fat, lower fat, higher fat, and your body's able to adapt to it.
Because our bodies are amazing.
Yeah, so it's not eating
so amazingly.
It's not eating fat that caused problems with your gallbladder. It was not eating fat.
Yeah, the problem is when you start to eat fat and your gallbladder's no longer, and then you have to adjust.
Marie says, I had beef liver with eggs for dinner tonight.
Yum.
Talk about a super combination.
Superfoods.
He says, I don't feel like I really had to change my lifestyle that much. I still enjoy copious amounts of food. I just stopped eating garbage. Jerry says, I also regret having a lap band surgery. I did great at the beginning, but after a while I gained everything back along with quite a few friends. I'll hopefully one day have it removed. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. That's cool. I didn't know you could do that, get it removed.
Sean says, I don't remember the person who submitted that question, but I remember bypasses is about 75% mental. Wellman does say liver can give you toxic levels of vitamin A if you eat too much.
Yep.
That is true.
Yeah.
And that's, so Siobhan Huggins, she was eating a lot of liver for an experiment she was doing, and she actually started getting aversion to eating it. Her brain started saying, no, I will not eat that.
Didn't she start getting her depression again?
I don't remember.
I'm trying to remember. Oh,
I don't remember that about it. I just remember her talking about the aversion. And it's really interesting how our bodies are just amazing and how they do have these mechanisms in place for feedback telling us, you know what, you've had enough water. Or, you know what, you've had enough salt. Or, you've had enough protein. Or, you've had enough fat.
The problem is there's not a you've had enough sweet because you're supposed to eat sweet to get fat for the winter.
That's right. You come across the blackberry bush and you say,
you eat
I will
thing.
eat all of it. I will not stop until it is gone.
And then you're like, oh.
Yep. It's like we're designed that way. Mike says, I would not like planks. Yes. Mike says, Miriam, you have the best attitude. I wish you could bottle that. Need to do better with that.
Me too.
Exchange student says, hi, didn't even make the connection. I had liver and liver sausage for dinner tonight. Suzanne points out that Kroger and Smith's are the same owners. I'm going to look tomorrow. Nice. Yeah. Exchange student says, root beer was great as ice cream.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Sky says, not a drill though. Nope. This is not a drill.
Nope.
It's a hammer.
Yep.
Len says, my doctor suggested I go to Mexico to get weight loss surgery. I switched to a new doctor who put me on keto. I watched that Lula Rich thing. And there was an episode where all of the upper management was pressuring ladies to go to Mexico and get weight loss surgery. And like they stopped talking to them if they said that they weren't
So
going to
they
do
could
it.
be better salesmen or something?
I don't know. It was really weird. Anyway, Denise says, I was on metformin before keto. Went off to see if keto really works. Metformin is not insulin, and it is to help open cells from insulin resistance. However, it depletes B12.
Oh, so you
interesting.
probably have to take B supplements at the same time, right?
Yep, which meat is the perfect way to get B12.
Yeah.
Andrew says, I don't regret my gastric bypass, but am disappointed at the ignorance doctors have about diet and nutrition.
Yeah.
If they were educated the proper way of eating, we wouldn't be that dependent
Yeah.
or desperate enough to do surgery. There you go.
Yep.
Jerry says, no gallbladder, too much fat for me, and I better have a bathroom close. Esther says that has to be why my gallbladder had to come out. I take ox bile to eat higher fat. There you go.
And it works. I'm so glad.
Too Crazy Keto says, personally, we never have to worry about eating too much liver. Yeah, that's because Rachel
Not
won't
super
have
tempting. We haven't had it in a long time. I have some. I actually take the little.
Desiccated pills.
Well, I do have the kids take the desiccated pills. The girls do because they all have periods, and they need the extra iron. But we have the liver, and I take it and just put it in little Ziploc bags, and then we can cut it up and throw it into things.
Nice.
We just haven't made anything like that in a long time. You should put it in enchiladas. That'd be good.
Yeah. JJ says, I was seriously considering getting bariatric surgery, but I decided to try keto one more time. Thanks to Keto Chow and 2 Crazy Ketos, I'm now more of a lifestyle change than a diet change. Awesome.
It's so awesome.
Marie says, I crave liver about once a month.
And you
Funny
probably
that.
really need it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Let's see. 2 Crazy Ketos says that documentary was interesting. Yes, it was. And I am so happy that we're using the business model that we are instead of others after watching that show. I was like, ooh.
We still could improve, definitely.
Sabrina says, I tried to get our meat processor to grind up liver in our hamburger, and they wouldn't do it.
Oh, that's a
Wow.
bummer.
Let's see. Brian says, I came in late. Are we talking about creating liver-flavored keto chow?
Yes,
No, we're not.
best joke.
Christy says, I haven't been able to find chicken liver anywhere since the food shortages started.
Oh,
Which is
yeah.
really
You know, I
sad.
haven't seen chicken livers in a long time.
Let's see. Because if you search for 2 keto dudes liver,
Yeah.
there's Julie's liver mousse
Oh,
pate.
that was so good. You need to make me that.
So Julie McClure from Fox Hills Kitchen. It's a pound of chicken livers, a pound of butter,
Yes.
a cup of shallots,
Shallots.
whatever. The lady of
The
shallots.
lady of the.
Anyway, 3/4 a cup of extra dry sherry if you really want to.
Which will probably
Salt,
do
pepper,
that.
and thyme. So yeah, you
Pepper,
melt
and
the butter,
thyme.
add the shallots, some salt and pepper,
Shallots.
add the lippers and cook until a little pink remains. Inside, I'm not sure. Anyway,
Insider Biv.
oh, so the A vitamins are still there. Then
Okay.
you take it looks like it's been messed up. Anyway, deglaze the pan with the sherry if you want to and reduce until thick. Cover blender, turn on, add room temperature butter through a hole in the lid while it's running. So add the other ingredients and taste. I always add more salt. You want it silky smooth, put it through a china cap or fine strainer, press all the goodness through. Taste again. So
What's a china cap?
I think it's just a strainer. It's like
Oh.
a cheesecloth, I'm assuming.
Wow.
Let's see, Mead says, pan-fried liver sounds good right now.
Yeah, it does.
Maya says, Chris probably had to do with the fact that one's attractiveness affects sales in a big way. Yeah, I'm thinking that as well.
Probably. It's unfortunate.
Yep.
It really is unfortunate.
Oh, Sky says, I found them at Winco when I could not find them anywhere else, the chicken livers. Tigris Akio says, peanut butter and jelly, Keto Chow. Let's see, he says I could eat peanut butter and jelly Keto Chow before I would eat liver-flavored Keto Chow.
Hey, you're not helping.
Visual Keo says, after having years of IBS-D and being pressured by doctors to get a gastric bypass, I was scared of side effects and tried keto. Keto cured all my gut issues, and side effect is weight loss. Love my chow.
Yay.
That's awesome. JJ said, I'd try a peanut butter and jelly Keto Chow. No, you guys can mix chocolate peanut butter
And strawberry.
with the strawberry, right? Or you can mix
vanilla, peanut flour,
and some
and strawberry. It just sounds gross.
or some grape flavored
Do you
syrup.
really want to try that?
I don't know. I've never tried it actually.
Ugh.
Shauna says, just the thought of squeezing blended meat through something is enough for me. A hard pass.
Hard pass.
Chrissy says, I had a mini sleeve. My doctor recommends protein first. I don't love meat since surgery. I use Keto Chow. I use half at a time, minimum amount of fat.
Perfect.
That is fantastic.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Matreya says, sounds good. Stephanie says, how about
delicious.
peanut butter Keto Chow? No chocolate, even though I love chocolate peanut butter. That is a good idea. Oh, which reminds me, I'm going to post the link to that recipe.
The meat through a china cup?
No. Victoria says, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. No, actually said, if you can make
She did not
licorice
say
Keto
that.
Chow, you can make grape, peanut butter, and jelly Keto Chow. That's a
Yeah,
quote
but
from
that, do we
Dodgeball.
really want to, like,
You never saw that movie, did you?
no.
Their coach, he pulls out a wrench.
dodge a
He's
wrench,
like, what are you
you
going to
can
do
dodge a
with
ball.
that? He's like, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. And he chops
I
a
have
wrench.
heard you say that a lot,
Yep.
but I didn't know what it was from.
Mead says, now all this talk of liver makes me think Braunschweiger. I
Yep.
can never pronounce that right. Which I just discovered is keto friendly. It's a lot like
Yeah.
liverwurst.
Yeah, yeah.
Joe loves it.
That liver pate recipe is delicious. We had it. Oh, where
Probably
were
Keto Fest.
so
Or
long
we
ago.
were at Low Carb Denver.
Yes.
Is that where it was?
And then we had cheeses. We were at Robert Sykes' party house. Party house.
At Low Carb Denver?
No, at Robert Sykes' party house.
At Omaha?
Omaha. Dr. Boz was there. It was
I don't remember having
was-
the pate.
yes.
Okay. Anyway, Victoria
swear we
says
did.
yes. Maya says, yeah, if you can dodge traffic, you can dodge a ball.
What's the muscle man guy's name? I forget.
Um,
The doctor. The carnivore.
Sean Baker?
It was Sean Baker's birthday.
It was. Christy Davis says, any progress on blueberry muffin Keto Chow? Nope. Shauna says, I enjoy Keto Chow vanilla with peanut flour.
Yeah.
Too Crazy Keto says it's not the same. I bet once PB&J Keto Chow comes out, it'll be Miriam's favorite. Just remember, red licorice sounded gross, but it's good.
Yeah, that's true.
Red licorice did sound
That
weird,
did sound
and
gross.
it's
And
strangely
it's still
fantastic.
super delicious.
Victoria says Snickerdoodle
might
with
be
peanut butter
surprised.
flavor. Peanut butter powder is fantastic.
Ooh.
How to add grape jelly flavor?
I'd
though.
just make that into a chaffle and then put some jelly on top.
Yep. All right. Well, we've been going on longer than an hour, so
Okay.
we're going to sum it
Time
up.
to
Hey,
go.
everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Love having you with us, and be awesome to yourselves and other people.
Be excellent to each other
Yeah.
and yourself.
Party on, dudes. Bye, guys.